I was supposed to pick up some eggs. My wife calls me. She's panting on the other line saying, hey, Hamza, I think it's here. I'm having strong contractions. I got into the car, I drove back home, and when I got home, I saw my wife, Kathleen, in the bathtub doing some of the breathing exercises that she learned. The doula got there and she started setting up the water birth pool. And then she popped over into the room and she said, man, we can't do the water birth because this baby's gonna be here very soon. So Kathleen got onto all fours and I bent over behind her and I was waiting, you know, like a receiver catches the football, and she had this big push. And then Hakeem, my son, his head popped out. But then right after she pushed again, and his entire body fell into my hands. And bro, in that moment, I was so shocked. But then literally a second later, this instinct rushed through me. And I looked at his face and he was crying. And I was so amazed. Everything became slow motion. It was the most incredible out of body experience that I've ever had. I could see Kathleen laying on the bed, a little bit dazed. I could see the doula taking photos of us. I could see my cat, who was peeking around the corner, trying to see what was happening. And I just saw the beauty and I saw the miracle of life. And I couldn't help but just appreciate God for creating me and giving me the opportunity to become a dad, that I know I couldn't have had this if it wasn't a home birth. There's so much fear mongering around the idea of birth that as a guy, you've heard through stories, or especially you've seen through movies, the woman is just doing her thing at home and then all of a sudden her water breaks and it's a holy crap moment where now she's panicking, she's trying to get in touch with her man, he's not picking up the phone, she's got to call the ambulance, she rushes over, contractions are happening, it's so painful, the baby's at risk now, the heart rate is dropping, the woman is going in and out of consciousness, and then the guy, he's outside pacing back and forth in the hallways, praying to God that everything's gonna be okay. And then at the end of it, the doctor walks out the doors, takes his gloves off and says, sir, you have a healthy baby. And you have a sigh of relief. This is the image that most guys have in their mind. It's the image that I had in my mind about birth. So I was nervous as hell about the idea of doing anything outside of the hospital, because in my mind, the doctor was there to save the day. But the facts are that you've been misinformed. I was misinformed. First thing is that statistically, there's no difference in the death rate between kids that are born at home versus kids that are born in the hospital. I would even argue that giving birth at a hospital is more dangerous because look, people that are sick go to hospitals. Do you really want your wife and your newborn kid to be exposed to all these illnesses? I mean, pregnancy is not a medical condition. The other thing is that doctors are actually incentivized. They are paid more to administer drugs. For example, there's Pitocin, which is this contraction increasing drug. There's another drug called epidural, which is a needle that's poked into the spine of a woman to make sure that she doesn't feel the pain. So you're gonna give them a drug to make them contract more, which is gonna make them feel more pain, and then you give them a drug to counteract the pain. And here's the kicker. Doctors are also paid more to have C-sections. There's a clear conflict of interest over here. And on top of that, in a hospital, they're gonna make your woman give birth laying down on her back, which scientifically and from a physics standpoint is actually the worst way to give birth. You have doctors coming in and doing these vaginal exams where they're sticking their fingers up, and it's so invasive, bro. No wonder why you have women that are unable to actually perform and do what their body knows how to do because they're under so much freaking stress. And then at the end of it, they just cut her open and pull the baby out. And they've convinced us that that's actually normal. The act of conceiving a child is a very intimate, private, at-the-home experience. So why should the birth process be any different? That's when things clicked for me. I was like, damn, bro, when people go to the hospital to have births, the dad isn't even a part of the process. And then realizing, man, there's so many dads out there that are supporting their women and having these home births, which are completely transforming the entire birthing experience to being super intimate, super chill. The woman is in her zone and the guys are catching their freaking children, which I thought you had to be a medical professional to be able to do. And so the more I'm learning about this, the more I'm realizing, man, this is the way that it should be. What I do want to say though, is have a great team by your side that's supporting you and your woman to have a great birth experience. And oftentimes the hospital isn't the place for that. So do your own research, listen to more stories, and more than anything, don't take a backseat and say, hey, you know what? This is not my thing. We'll make sure that her mom's there or my mom's there. I'm just not even going to be involved in this process. No, you're going to be missing out on such an incredible opportunity. Be there with your woman just like you guys were there when you conceived. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Peace.